What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Animation Revaluation Podcast. I am Lizer, and with me, as always, is Jay. What's up, Jay?
Yeah.
Boys back.
Yes, sir.
That guy, why'd you put first twice?
Uh,
Nah, I know you said not to call her out for that, but fuck that.
what? Oh God.
Why you think you special?
Jesus.
What's up, Jay? How you been, man?
Pretty good actually. Taking taking it one day at a time. Not my usual.
Yeah, that's kind of how days work, but
Listen,
okay.
listen here.
Don't you start your bullshit with me.
But yeah, just been taking it easy
Good, man.
for the most part.
Yeah, just vibing, chilling.
What about you? How's your? It's been a month since we've been here.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I've had my ups and downs. I can't lie, say everything's Gucci, but I'm dealing with it. It's, I'm making it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, everything's great. Nah, fuck that. I'm struggling right now.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to everyone, but I'm hanging in there. I'm just working and shit, getting ready to send my sister out on her first big trip tomorrow.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I got the pup. I don't think I had him last time.
Nah.
Yeah, I think I've only had him like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Only been 2 weeks.
So I got a pupper, my little pit bull. He be vibing. I just be chilling with him. That's kind of how I've been spending my time. Like y'all thought I was reclusive before. Nah. I've been cuddling with the pup all day now.
Not no one gets the time of day.
Nah. Yeah, but other than that, I've just been chilling. My boss is about to take a vacation, so I'm about to get a whole bunch of extra work. So that's gonna be fun.
Extra work on top of like what you already do, or
Yeah.
extra? You getting paid more? Or?
No.
No. Damn.
No.
Damn.
I mean, it's not so much like extra work. It's just if something happens, I'm going to be responsible for it. So if pipes burst or something, I'm the one that's gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't happen. But outside of that, watch some anime.
Yes.
Something about a bunny girl. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wanna take the lead
Full
on
title.
that?
Yeah, full title is a mouthful, but it is
Yeah.
I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong.
We just said it like right before starting.
I know. It's like Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. It's a mouthful though. But there is a Bunny Girl Senpai, so it's not misleading.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunny girl senpai, so it's instantly a 10 out of 10. We don't even have to. We don't have to review anything.
But I'll run through the characters first,
Yes, sir.
and then delve into plot lines. First character is where's my Discord? Oh shit.
Oh no.
Got minimized. Okay. So our main character and protag. Why's my Discord like this?
Oh no.
It's being weird.
Oh
It
no.
didn't show me like everything. But this is Sakuta. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce his last name because it's not worth it.
Bro, we're New Yorkers.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I saw it for the first time. I was like, "Hey, that's a lot of letters." He is probably the most like I'd say straightforward protag I've ever met. Actually, given he has pretty much what he wants, like straight out, no filter, no nothing,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's really nice.
It's not like, oh, I have a crush on this girl, I'm just gonna be weird around her. It's, oh, I have a crush on this girl, I'm gonna tell her to squeeze my face between her thighs.
Yeah, really forward.
He's a homie.
Mm-hmm. Very forward. Um, Second character is my senpai. Um, she is obviously the upperclassman to Sakuta, also the woman or girl rather. Sakuta has a crush or is in love with. Also, actress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very. She's. I'd say she's quite the opposite of Sakuta, where she's like a little more indirect, but is okay with hiding certain things about herself.
I'm just looking at this picture that we have of her right now,
Uh huh.
and the strand of hair that's like closest to her eye on the left,
Yep.
it looks like somebody took like the eraser tool and and just took out, like, you see what I mean? Like there's like
Yeah.
a chunk missing there. It's so
That's
weird. Like, I keep looking at that. Like, why does that look like that?
Someone took the eraser tool off of Photoshop and was just like, because it's uneven. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it's
Somebody took a bite out of
someone was hungry.
it.
Um, I'll get more into my later. This is Kaede. Kaede is Sakuta's younger sister and is also I believe the term is recluse.
Mm-hmm.
She stays inside.
Mm-hmm.
She also, we'll find a little more about that as well later on. This is Rio, or it's Futaba.
Yeah.
Nice.
The glasses. The glasses.
Futaba is a close friend to Sakuta, and she's usually the one helping him out, figuring all about. She's a big hand to him figuring out like the solution to all of these different problems that have been popping up like here and there between whether it would be him and a different character or you know a natural phenomenon, I guess you would say. And we have Nodoka. Nodoka is Mai's sister. Also another actress that basically wanted to be like Mai when she grew up, or as she's like getting older. She's like looked up to Mai as I guess a role model, you would say.
Makes sense.
But those are the 5 that I'm gonna talk about for the time being. There's a 6th. I don't want to get too into her though because my memory's a little hazy when it comes to her. So I guess the first what is this? This is, I believe it's 12 episodes long. I forgot. It's like 12. I think it's 12.
Yeah.
12 in a movie.
Right. Yeah.
And these are broken up into, I believe, like 2 to 3 episode arcs that focus on Sakuta and said character working out something that they would call I forgot what it's called. It's like the adolescent syndrome or puberty syndrome.
Which is a very weird name for it.
I agree, but it's an interesting thing,
You've hit
right?
puberty. Obviously, that means you are now invisible.
So the first adolescent syndrome that we run into is actually Sakuta with Mai. Now he's basically like minding his own business one day, going through a store, normal, and he sees a girl wearing like a bunny outfit, and he's like, "What? What is this?"
And to be clear, people, we don't mean like a rabbit, like a bunny rabbit, like a furry
Like I'm
suit.
talking
Like
like
the
Las Vegas,
lingerie, Las
yeah,
Vegas
like
style, like skin tight bodysuit with the fishnets and that.
high like heels and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
the whole 9 yards, right? And he's like, "There's no way I'm the only one seeing this." And like he goes and he's like following her around, and he finally gets her to talk to him, or gets her to talk to him, and it's a little rough at the start. She's like basically brushing him off the entire time. It's like, "Go away," you know. It's like, you don't actually care.
Get out of here, simp.
Be gone. And slowly like kind of figure out, like, he gets her name. They have that boy meets girl moment, kind of. And she's like, "I'm invisible." Just just outright. And he's just like,
What do you mean by that?
literally. He's like,
what do you mean by that?
what does that even mean?
I'm looking at you right now.
And she kind of goes with it, and is like kind of waving her hands in front of like certain people's faces, and like they're not reacting at all. He's just like, "Holy shit, she's actually invisible, holy." And it's like, he starts asking her questions while they're in the grocery store, and it's like, "What happens to the things you pick up? Does it seem like it's just floating?" She's like, "No, I'd assume it's just, turns invisible anyways, like how I am." We find out that Mize was what is it? An actress, like a child actor, actress. And she was like she had like a contract through her mom's like I don't want to call it a firm, but like kind of like agency. There you go. Thank you. And it comes to, she's like maybe 14, 15, and she comes to a set, for a shoot, and they have like a bathing suit like laid out for her, and they wanted her to like pose.
Grab your.
Yeah, like yeah, like they wanted like those kind of photo shoots for a 15-year-old, and she's like, "I don't want to do it."
Yeah, that's
but
creepy.
I agree. But her mom had already signed the contract, and it already said that she would. And so, yeah, that
go to jail straight away.
We get more information about Mai's mom. She's just always willing to like make money off of my success as a child actress. No, pretty sad, and like that was just pretty sad. He's just traumatized like a 14-year-old for money.
Yeah, that's
and
what a parent does.
Drama.
Yeah, money.
And that's, I guess, that being brought up, and as it being like a repressed thing. We don't actually know how long Mai's been invisible for, but it kind of gets to the point where there are other people that really can't see her. Like, Mai sent her mom a text message to be like, "Hey, I'm going back into like showbiz, and I won't be joining your agency." And her mom just walks right through her. I was like, "Oh shit, this is real."
Been there.
Um, Sakura then goes to Futaba and is like, "Hey, I need help. Is there anything you know can do? Anything you can do for me?" And she says something like real like out there, I guess. It's not like real precise, but it was very vague. I forgot the exact like wording of it, but it was like, you know, if you put something in, it's like if you put a cat in a box with something that reacts to a certain chemical and another thing that reacts to that releases said chemical, once every like hour, basically. You take the lid off after 30 minutes. What happens? Is the cat alive or dead?
So the classic Schrodinger's box.
Yeah.
I mean Schrodinger's cat
Sure.
in a box.
It's like a real like Schrodinger's like cat type of thing. And it was just like you'd find out, taking the lid off the box, you look in the box, you'd find out that the cat's 50%, like half alive, half dead. That part went over my head, but it's basically like an exposure thing. And at the end of the 3 episodes, we kind of found out what it wasn't necessarily that Mai was invisible. It was more of what sleep had to do with playing a part in memories. And the past 2 days, Mai and Sakura spent together, he stayed awake. Not only studying for final exams, but testing Futaba's theory. And come the 3rd day and the last day of finals exams, Sakura fell asleep. And he entirely forgot Mai the 3rd day. So he's just kind of like freaking out. He knows something's off, but he can't put his finger on it. And so he's in the last day of the test. A certain question that was on the exam stood out to him, and he remembered Mai like off that one question, because that 3rd day, like before he had fallen asleep, she had helped tutor him for that 3rd day, for that 3rd day, and he immediately remembered her like off of the question. And he felt so bad that like he forgot her, because he promised that he wouldn't forget, even though he didn't remember, or he didn't know what the cause of it was at that moment. And then he was just like, yeah, fuck this exam. Fucking ran out the classroom in front of the entire building, like in the courtyard, confessed his love for Mai in front of the entire school. And off of that alone, not only was it pretty like large, like secondhand embarrassment, but he got the whole school to acknowledge Mai once again, like she existed.
Bro, he
And
know how he liked her booty cheeks and those fishnets.
yeah, he was real like, descriptive. I was like, okay.
He's a master of his craft. My
Yeah.
God.
I can't even be mad with him. Mans knows what he wants.
Hell yeah.
And they have like a really happy moment between getting in trouble, of course, but
But it works.
But it worked, yeah. And Mai can be seen again by everyone.
So it was
Uh,
almost like more of a mass like hypnosis type of thing.
yeah, which is still not explained, but
No, I think it ever does
I
get explained.
nah, it doesn't.
Yeah. You just move on to the next arc, and then you're like, alright, whatever.
Yeah, so it's been a month basically. Um, and you know, Mai's still not going out with him.
Sag.
I agree. How many fucking spilt the beans in front of the entire school? And she was just like, no. But she's real friendly with him though, so it's something.
Get your money,
But
not your funny
um, trying to, but they're like sharing a lunch basically. Like
Yeah.
she made him lunch, and he's like, you know, I love you. Would you go out with me? And she's like, you know, after hearing the same thing for a month straight, it's not the same anymore. And he's just like, bro, what? You made me do this.
This is your fault. Bro, you can't trust these hoes.
And it he like gets himself out of it to get like somewhat of an answer. And he's just like, you know, it's not a no. She's like, I got a part in the like a new job basically. Like she's still acting, but it's just a part in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a bit.
Or yeah. And she's like, okay. He's just like poking at her more and more. And he's just like, so it's, you know. He's like, you know, I'm still here. It's like, you haven't given me an answer yet. And he's just like prodding. And she's like embarrassed. Like she's just completely embarrassed. And he's like, he's like, I want to kiss. And she's like, close your eyes, holds out the food, and he like kisses the like the egg. And then like, or she gave it to him. I forgot. It was one of those two. But besides that, uh, she gets embarrassed. She says yes. Long story short. The day kind of resumes. He goes down the staircase. He sees a lower classman speaking to another guy, and he's asking the lower classman out. The lower classman says no, and she kind of goes about her day, basically. And then we get brought back to, I guess, like the same morning routine where everything's happening again. So the date hasn't elapsed. And he's like, hey, wait a minute, something ain't right here.
Hold up. I don't
And
like
this, yeah. And the second day, he's like, hey, Kaede, we like having the same day over again. And she's like, what do you mean by that? So he kind of just drops it and continues about his day. Does the same thing with Mai, except that this time he gives a different response. Still gets what he wants, is a yes in the end. And except when he finds the lower classman again, she's in one of the classrooms hiding under one of the podiums, like in front of the classroom. They talk. It's Tomoe. Ooh, I did not put that picture up. How did I forget Tomoe?
Who the fuck? Who the fuck?
This... I don't know how I skipped over Tomoe. But she is like hiding from that upperclassman. Like she's fully aware that the day hasn't changed, right? It's the same day. She's hiding from that same upperclassman. They have a conversation, and he's like, "What are you doing hiding in here?" She gives her whole bit of, you know, explaining herself, and she hears someone come to the door, and pulls him underneath the podium. Podium falls, door opens, it's the upperclassman, and he's like, damn, that's crazy.
You gonna do me like this?
And he walks away. Then the other door at the other end of the classroom opens. It's Mai, seeing the it's the cliche, damn anime girl on top of guy type beat. It literally, I can explain. He's like, this is not what it looks like. I promise.
She fell on top of it. Several times.
And you know, he gets up, he follows Mai out of the classroom, and he's trying to explain himself. She says, "Don't talk to me," and just walks away. And Sakuta's just so sure, you know, this day will replay over. You know, I got another chance. And then it pans to same morning sequence, except that the day is elapsed. It is the next day. It's a Saturday.
No.
And he's like, oh fuck, I fucked up. And oh boy, is it. Like, it's insane. Right? New day. Whole school thinks he's him and Tomoe dating. But he's also figured out that Tomoe is the cause of like the days repeating themselves. You know, thanks to Futaba, you know, smart girl.
Yeah.
And he's just looking like for different anomalies. He's like, how do I fix this? And just, when he talks to Tomoe is like, all right, here's what I need you to do. Is we're gonna lie to the entire school, say that we're more than classmates, less than lovers type beat for the entire like rest of the semester till summertime. And you know, it's like, okay, and he agrees.
How does that help him though?
It doesn't, because it just makes it makes it like really bad for him. But he's very grateful that Mai is like, I wouldn't say understanding, but more of she gets it. Because she ends up coming over and she's like, why haven't you talked to me? Literally. It's like, what's happening? It's like, why didn't you come explain this to me? After her telling him, hey, don't talk to me. I don't know. That's mixed signals.
Woman moment.
But he explains it to her. He's what I thought was funny, and it's one of those really bad moments of like, if your parent walks in while you're watching anime, it was like kind of one of those things, because he's just sitting, like she's sitting on the chair, and like it's just knee down while he's just like on his knees on the floor by the bed. And I was like, damn, it'd be crazy if someone walked in right about now. I couldn't explain it.
Like, let me just restart the episode so you can see how we got here.
Yeah. But it's kind of like it looked like some kind of like punishment thing. Anyways, kind of like, you know, someone pleads for forgiveness kind of way. And I was like, okay, I could kind of see this, whatnot. And he gives her the whole situation, and she's like, okay, this is fine. You're off the hook. But, you know, I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
The weirdest thing to me though is like, why would he not go to her as someone who had already gone through something like this?
Yeah.
She would be the one that understands. Like,
I mean, if the girl you were into said, like, if you were in an unexplainable like situation, even though you could kind of explain it, but she's not having it, would you make the attempt to?
Yes.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point.
Absolutely.
He's like, I'm trying to save this as much as I can. But long story short is that they keep up this lie for till summertime. They end up going on a date too. Tomoe ended up having a lot of fun actually. And we get to the part where they kind of have to like break it off. And I mean, like, Tomoe has like waterworks and everything. She's not afraid of like her friends anymore, or friends in quotation marks. And she's like, yeah, I like you. And it gets deeper, you know, it's more of it turns into a I love you sort of situation. She's just bawling the entire time while it's raining. And
Balling in the rain takes skill, bro.
Yeah.
Slippery. What if you try to dunk?
you hit the pole. But it's like at this current moment, it's like midway in like I think it was July. It's like July 11th. I forgot. I'm unsure of the exact date. But after she's basically done, she's just in tears, and he's like, "You did good," you know, kind of like the simple like reassurance thing. And I thought that was really like sweet. But he was also just like, yeah, you know, after all this is over, we can still be friends. And she's like, I'd like that. And then dropped the whole I love you bomb on him. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I was like, all right.
Homewrecker.
Clearly knowing that there's an entire someone he's dedicated to.
Fucking hustle, bro. Worst character.
She still did. She's like 16. But then we get back to that original like waking up sequence, and it's the next day of, it's like the 29th of like June. We went from July like 11th to the 29th of June, given revealed what Tomoe's like, I guess, power is necessarily, and it's creating future like future scenarios.
Yeah, if it's a future she doesn't like, it goes back.
It goes back, yep. And she was having a great time for like those like 2-3 weeks. I was like, wow, okay, that's kind of broken as shit, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So since he didn't want to be her boyfriend, it just like reverts. And then he's like, all right, we're gonna do this again. He starts beating the shit out of her. Still want me to be your boyfriend?
Oh my god.
That doesn't happen.
No. Jesus. Let's see. We have Futaba's story. What can I say? I can give the gist of Futaba's story.
Yeah, that one's fucking complicated.
Basically, there's two Futabas. The cause of her puberty syndrome is I guess it's like when her body changed, basically, like when she grew as a woman during this moment in time, she got a lot of unwanted attention, and that's what made her severely uncomfortable. And I guess it that's what happened when she had her moment and she split in two, because the two Futabas were very different. One wanted attention and was dressing differently than, the actual Futaba who keeps to herself. Lab coat Futaba. She's like sending like provocative photos and stuff like that, posting them on the internet.
That's my Futaba.
And I was like, oh, okay. But the cause of it is just her hatred of her own body, which I thought was pretty interesting, but also probably really common.
Yeah, it was a very complicated way to show a very common issue.
Yeah.
But they tried to add like all this science and stuff in it, and I was sitting there and I was like, what the fuck is? Huh? Like, didn't they show like complex equations at some point?
Yeah, at some point they were like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Bro, I failed chemistry.
I didn't.
I mean, I passed the class. I failed the region.
I didn't even attempt it. They said we couldn't have a cheat sheet.
Oof.
Yeah. What else?
So
There is
for this rewatch, I only got as far as Futaba, but on my original watch, I know I saw the sister.
Yeah, I'm going to just cover Kaide's, and that's it. I won't go into the others because I won't go into I won't go into Blondie. I won't go into the blonde, and I won't go into Shoko.
I don't even know who that is.
It's the girl that he went on about that he was in love with, like his first crush.
Oh, okay.
That disappeared after his adolescent syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay. But Kaide, Sakura's younger sister, also known recluse, stays in the house, doesn't like going outside. Cause of Kaide's puberty syndrome, cyberbullying, bullying in general. And hers was actually really bad.
Yeah.
She was hospitalized for hers. Basically, the bullying had gotten so bad for Kaide is the syndrome itself started manifesting like these cuts and bruises all over Kaide's body, and she ended up getting hospitalized for it.
Which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
You know that happened in real life?
What?
There was a case of a dude that he was like in a psych ward, and he kept hurting himself, so they like strapped him up, and he continued to get, wounds and shit all over his body. And he was in a padded room. They were like, how the hell? So they put him in like another room where they were able to observe him, and he was like strapped to a table while he slept, and wounds were just fucking appearing on him.
Yo.
It's fucking wild, and they like
That's
never figured
funky.
out what it was.
That's funky.
Yeah.
But Kaide eventually got over, being a recluse. She made a lot of friends. She made a lot of development. Even started getting dressed for school, going back to school, having friends.
It's fucking disgusting.
She made like a checklist for herself, basically, like everything she wanted to get done before she felt like she was ready to go back, and join the world. It's a really like proud moment for Kaede and Sakura as a older brother. Seeing his sister grow. It was nice. She also became friends with Mai and
yeah. As an older brother, I can say like that is nice to see like them take those kind of steps. First time hanging out with friends on their own, first time traveling on their own, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is nice to see. Just like get the fuck out of my house.
I don't know if it was a joke or not, but like the random remarks Kaide would make towards her brother. I don't know if those are jokes or not, or actually intentional.
I don't remember what kind of things
There's
were she
there's like one with I'm pretty sure one of them she's definitely teasing him about is like the forbidden love between siblings.
Oh, I was gonna touch on that a little bit because this came out around the time that stuff like fucking Orimo was coming out, where it was like, haha, incest, woohoo.
Yeah.
And I was very worried about the direction that this was gonna take when I saw they had like the cute sister who was always helping out her brother. It was like,
Red flag.
Yeah.
Denied.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah. But
I think
I imagine it was a joke, cause she did mention that she did love her brother, but I don't think it was in that way, cause she ended up like sneaking into his bed at night and stuff, and, like sleeping in his bed.
I don't know, man. They also had a fucking speaking of Orimo, they had a cameo. I think the last episode of this anime, you see the siblings from Orimo out on a date together in the background.
I missed that.
So maybe there's a little more going on. I don't know. Let's not think about it.
It made my brain hurty. But yeah, I know definitely my explanations are a little spotty. There'd be better better explained if you actually go watch it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because everything, the stuff that happens in the show is not very easy to explain without watching. Like, they make things very complicated. Even though like a synopsis should be easy, like there are very easy ways to say, hey, this happens, blah blah blah, but then you're not giving full detail. Obviously, you're not going as in depth as they would in the show, as if you would have watched it. And I feel like maybe they did that on purpose, so that you couldn't get away
You
with
just
just
go
seeing
watch
summaries. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff you wouldn't get from watching it, you'd get from reading. Like, I tried in the beginning to like read, and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me, and I've seen it. This is my second time watching this, and I've seen it, and I was like, the synopsis makes no sense to me. And then I watched it, I got it immediately, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I would definitely say to watch this just for that alone, just so you fucking understand what the hell's happening.
Oh, but this anime is pretty.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very well animated. The characters are fun. The storylines, even though I'm saying that they're complicated, they are pretty well written, and
they flow really well too.
Yeah, every arc has its own structure and flows very well. You can even watch an entire arc without having watched the rest of the anime and still be fine.
Yep, because they're not interconnected.
I mean, as a whole, they are, but it's not
But
like
individually,
you need to know. Yeah, you don't need to know everything about the show to watch any specific arc.
Oh, there's one more puberty syndrome that I did not cover, but it's very simple, and I kind of had to do my own like deep diving, kind of, and it's Sakuta's. This is just giant claw mark across his chest. That came from depression.
Mood.
That his was just depression, and it was real bad.
Damn, I also have depression and a mark across my chest. Crazy.
Are you Sakuta, bro?
Nah, I just got hit by a hammer.
Oh. Oh. But personal opinion, go watch it. I won't even give it I'm not actually. Nah, I still give it a 10. I don't care. Still go watch it. I don't know what else to say.
I also say go watch it. I wouldn't give it a 10 though, honestly. I think on my first watch through, I liked it a lot more than on this watch through. So
What changed?
I don't know. I don't know what it was that changed.
Just didn't hit diff.
Yeah, it just hit different this time, and not in a good way. Honestly, I think I would give it a 6 this time. I think if it was my first watch through, I probably would have said 8.
I got you.
But you know, it's just different headspace, different point in my life. It's still a good show. Honestly, one of my big gripes with it is that it just feels like a watered down, safer version of Bakemonogatari.
Yeah. I was reading. Well, not reading, but I've definitely. It's like related to, and that would pop up, and I was like, huh.
Yeah. The only reason I haven't put Bakemonogatari on our list to watch on here is that I don't know where to start, because there's like they had say 10 years ago the first season came out. They'll probably have a new season come out last year that's completed, and like 20 seasons in between, and like 4 of those take place before the first season, and 3 of them take place 20 years in the future, and 1 takes place in an alternate timeline. It's like, what the fuck am I watching?
It's just like the fate flow chart.
Yeah. And then there's like movies that are also prequels. Like they're real good. I would recommend if somebody watches this show, Bunny Girl Senpai, and you liked it, but maybe you wanted a little more, I would say go check out Bakemonogatari, the first season. That's as good a starting point as any, even though that's technically the middle of the storyline, even though it's the first season, but whatever. It's a good jumping off point. You can just choose, your own thing. But it's like a more risque version of this. A lot more energy in it. Characters have powers. There's like fights and stuff. So it's like Bunny Girl Senpai Plus,
Yeah.
And I think that's the only real gripe I had with this, is that when I compared the two, even though I shouldn't be, but just knowing that something so similar exists that came out before, and seeing that this was just a lesser version of it, I was like, Still enjoyable though. Still, it is its own thing. But yeah, my point stands there.
Understandable.
Yeah. But I mean, between a 6 and a 10, that's pretty solid.
Average out of 8.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Anything else you want to add before I say what we're doing next time?
No, I'm good. I got my piece out.
Okay. So there's something that I watched a long time ago, and I've been craving watching it again. I've been even thinking about reading it, because I dropped reading it as well. Not because it was bad, but because I just lost the time back when I was reading it. But this series is fucking something else. And just watch as much as you want and have fun with it. Because we're going to be watching
I like having fun.
Air Gear.
I was reading this shit in fucking middle school. Oh my god.
Let's go. I know that shit brought you back immediately.
Bro.
Tell me this wasn't the hypest shit at one point. Tell me this wasn't the fucking hypest shit.
I was begging my school to get more, because they were stacked up in the library. And I was like, please tell me I have more, right? And they were like, nah, we don't have any more. And I was like, can y'all get more? Like,
Song, thank you for the gifted sub. Really appreciate it. Yeah, this shit went hard, bro. I also found it in my school's library and then started watching the anime. The manga goes way beyond where the anime is, and shit gets crazy in the manga. But yeah, this shit starts off as like a funny haha type of show, and then gets fucking serious. You're like, oh, people's dying. There's like one point where they're like, oh yeah, she lost the match. It's like, oh no, what does that mean? Well, it means she lost, but also she's completely paralyzed for the rest of her life. Like, fucking what? Excuse me?
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited to revisit this. So tune in next time, guys, for some air gear. See ya.
Later.
Later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.